fight that can make his career on Saturday night. What are you expecting from him?
Well, a guy who has the mentality of nothing to lose, very dangerous guy. You have to be careful, and I learned that in Sergio Mora fight. You got to be careful when a guy has his back to the wall and you think he's in danger or you think he has nothing to lose. You got to be careful. He can catch you with one shot and it can end it all. I mean, chances of that are very unlikely, but you still have to keep that in the back of your mind. This is boxing, and I believe anything can happen. I've prepped very well, regardless of how I view him as an opponent. My hard work and dedication inside that ring is backed up my idea of respecting this guy, right? I don't know if he's the most talented. I don't know if he's the strongest I've ever faced, or he's definitely one of the tallest guys I've ever fought. But it has yet to be seen what he'll bring to the table come Saturday night, but I am prepared.
How dangerous of a situation is it when you have so much at stake moving forward? How tough is it going into those kind of fights to do what you just said?
Well, I mean, they put a little pressure on you saying the fans love knockouts and, you know, in order to get the big fights, you have to produce. But it's not nothing that I'm not used to. I mean, I have an 80% knockout ratio. I've been knocking guys out for a long time, so I know how to set it up. My last fight was a bit hard because I was in there with a guy trying to survive. This guy, I do believe he's trying to come forward, trying to take my title, trying to get all the opportunities that he can get and put on a great show as well. So my thing is, for guys coming in a fight, he's going to leave himself a little bit vulnerable, and those opportunities I'm really looking forward to.
Dan, you're undefeated at Barclays Center. How much do you thrive of fighting in front of the hometown crowd, and what have you been working on in camp to prepare for a physical fighter like Zaleski?
Well, first to answer your question, I think fighting home is always a great advantage for me because I think I do thrive in that you know, the roars of the crowd, that Brooklyn love, the energy. It's the energy inside that building. You know, I'm a Brooklynite too, so I really connect with that. But with Zaleski, I don't know what I'm really to expect when it comes to what he brings to the table. I've only seen a couple of fights of him, and we've studied his flaws very well. We know what he does pretty good, and we know what he does when he don't do good. So my thing is to exploit those things and to make sure that I can perform what the fans truly want is a great knockout.
Now, you did say that Zaleski is a come-forward fighter. Do you believe that will lead to more openings in this particular fight compared to your last fight against Luis Arias?
Absolutely.
Kind of, tentative.
Yeah, very true. Very much so. I think it takes two to tango, and I think when a guy's going out there and trying to throw punches and try to put it together, he'll leave himself vulnerable, opposed to be on the defensive the whole entire fight. You know, it's really hard to stop a guy. And Arias was a very skillful guy, but he used those skills to survive, not really to add any threat or put any offense, anything, nothing of the sort. This guy, I believe he has the perfect style for me as far as setting up a great knockout, but I do have to respect him as a fighter inside that ring. So if the opportunity presents itself, if it doesn't, then I'm going to try to get and secure a great victory or unanimous decision.
Yeah, like you were mentioning those fights against Sergio Mora and also against Peter Quillin, where they kind of like open themselves up and kind of set themselves up for the knockout. So you're going to be looking for that.
Yeah, exactly, because they came to fight. Whereas, you know, you have to come to fight and you have to go out there and really try to work. And I'm such a skillful fighter, in my opinion, to know how to set a guy up and leave themselves vulnerable. But if you're on the defensive the whole time, then it's really hard to set those things up.
You said on the conference call last week, and it was the closest we've come to trash talk, basically.
Yeah.
We are putting too much stock in your performance against Golovkin. Performance. But what did you make of that? And do you think maybe he's underestimating you coming into the fight?
My opinion is he couldn't beat that Daniel Jacobs, and he couldn't even beat the Arias Daniel Jacobs. So he's saying people should judge me based off the Arias performance. But I don't even believe he can beat that Jacobs that night of the Arias performance. I think he needs to worry about putting his best foot forward and not judging any of my past performances, because every fight is different and you need to approach every fight different, whether it's mentally, physically, whatever the case may be. I am someone he has never fought before, so he doesn't know what it's like to be in there with a guy who is strong, probably stronger than he is, faster than he is, so on and so forth. So I think he has a lot to worry more so than about my previous opponents. time is coming, and I know I have a great team behind me to secure that in the future, in the near future. Rather. My thing is just do my job as a fighter. I let my team take care of the business, and I just make sure that the job set forth for me inside the ring, I'll do very well.
Do you think Golovkin will have any problems with Martin Rozier in the following week?
With a guy who's had 3 weeks notice, it's expected for him to look victorious and be impressive, but this is boxing, anything can happen. Vanessa is a good fighter as well.
Now, you were talking about Charlo earlier, and we all know about the confrontation that y'all had on March 3rd. He did have his win over Hugo Centeno Jr., and that has been talked about as a possible fight in the near future. If you don't secure the fight against Gennady Golovkin, probably around September of this year, do you look for that particular
100%. It's the fight that I want because the fans consider him to be one of the best. You know, as fighters in the boxing world, we know he's still got a lot to prove. We know he hasn't really fought anyone worthy of him calling himself the best of the division, or people are avoiding him, whatever his claim to fame is. I believe that I want to do it for the fans' sake because this is something that the fans truly want. He's a very skillful guy, taking nothing away from him, but he still has a lot to prove, in my opinion, amongst the boxing world, and especially amongst us middleweight who really know and who has put in that work before to have the right to say we are the best in the division.
Yeah, you only had like 2 fights in the middleweight division.
Yeah, but he had 2 fights against who though? That's my point. You know, if he would have fights against some worthy opponents, people probably even the top 10, top 15, you know, respectable opponents. You know, my guy knocked out Centeno before he got a chance to, and you know, that says a lot. I'm fighting an undefeated guy. You know, I'm calling out all these big names, but we're still getting guys that are worthy, that the fans won't say, you know, we're cherry picking, or the fans will still respect. And this guy, you can't take him lightly, but, you know, he's definitely a worthy opponent to be inside that ring, you know.